Hello friends and welcome back to Grow Money Wisely. Today we'll be doing again one of the most important ratio in the fundamental analysis part, that is price to book value. So welcome to price to book value lecture number 6, ratio number 2. And I please request you to watch the videos of the fundamental analysis in series so that you can understand it better. So let us start. In this session, we will be discussing what is PB ratio in brief first, then we'll be discussing what is book value. We will take an inventive example, an imaginative example to understand the terms better. Then we'll discuss about book value per share, BVPS, next about PB ratio and its usage, and at last but not the least, why do we commonly use PB ratio as the primary analyzation tool for all financial institutions from banking to mutual funds to NBFCs? We use PB ratio and it's a common question everyone has. PB ratio compares the cost of a stock to the value of a company if it was broken up and sold today. This was the layman definition for PB ratio. Even if you did not understand it, no worries, we will discuss it in detail in the upcoming slides. PB ratio is equated to market price per share divided by book value per share. So this was the formula for PB ratio. This was about PB ratio in brief. Now we'll understand PB ratio better by understanding the terms which are associated with it and are very essential to learn before we dive into the analyzation part. First is the book value. Book value of a company is the net difference between the company's total assets and total liabilities. So in simple terms, book value is assets of a company minus liabilities of a company. Assets includes the physical tangible assets that may be factories, vehicles, lands, buildings, shares, cash, etc. Liabilities includes the loan, mandatory payment, etc. Assets minus liabilities is the book value of the company. So basically the book value reflects the total value of a company's assets that shareholders would receive upon the liquidation of the company. It tells you what the shareholders of the company would receive after the liquidation of the company. We will understand the book value better by taking an example. Here we are having John, the owner of John T Public Limited. So this is a listed company. So let us assume that John T is having cash of 20 crores, trucks of 20 crores, factory worth 100 crores, shares of other companies valuing 10 crores, a tea garden valued at 60 crores. So now the total book value of John T company is nothing but a sum of all tangible assets. That is, in our case, it is 200 crores. So the book value of John T is 200 crores. Now suppose the company has released 2 crore shares. So the released shares is 2 crores. Now book value, in this case, book value per share of the company would be book value divided by number of shares, that is 200 crores divided by 2 crores, giving us 100 rupees as the book value per share of John T company. So here are a few things which you can analyze by book value per share. One thing you should always remember is that the book value per share considers the book value only. It fails to incorporate other intangible factors that may increase the market value of the company upon the liquidation of the company. For example, the brand value of the company, the copyrights, the company is having good customer base. So the book value fails to incorporate these values. If for example, if a company is having a good brand value, then its market capitalization can be quite higher than its book value. For example, Jaguar cars, Puma, market capitalization is quite higher than the book value, as book value fails to incorporate other intangible factors. Another very important thing you should remember is that we cannot incorporate the book value for software companies, as they offer very less tangible assets, as their major assets may be in the form of intellectual property or human capital. No much tangible assets or no much factories, no much buildings, no much gardens is required in the case of software companies. So PB ratio cannot be analyzed for software companies. Now we are at the analyzation part of the PB ratio. So number one, PB ratio measures the market valuation of a company related to its book value. It gives you a clear-cut comparison between the market value and the book value of a company. Number two, PB ratios under 1 are typically considered as solid investments because they are undervalued companies. Number three, it provides a valuable reality check for investors seeking growth at a reasonable price. So it gives you a reality check of how much you would receive upon the liquidation for how much you are paying now. Number four, PB ratio can also tell us that the company is having something fundamentally wrong even if the company's PB ratio is lower than 1 in the raging bull market. And conversely, PB ratio of more than 1 can be viewed as relatively expensive or overvalued. Because in a bull market, the prices are raising, but the company's price to book value is lower than 1, then something may be wrong in the company. Something may be very fundamentally wrong in the company. So PB ratio can play a major role in bifurcating rewarding stocks from the others. So there's a parable that in the stock market you should always separate diamonds from the coal and buy diamonds at the price of coal. So now we are at the final question, that is why we commonly use PB ratio as the primary analyzation tool for financial institutions. We do not take PE ratio or the price to earnings ratio into consideration. Rather, we take PB ratio, and the answer is on your screen. Financial institutions like banks, insurance companies, they may produce unreliable valuation results because of their earnings can swing back and forth from one quarter to the next due to unpredictable and sometimes complex banking operations. PB has much less volatility than earnings. So this means PB gives us more stable valuation measurement. As for financial institutions like banks, insurance companies, NBFC, that stands for non-banking financial institutions, and mutual funds groups, their earnings are based upon the market sentiments. If the market sentiments are good, then their investment money would yield them good returns. If the market sentiments are not quite good, then the results for earnings may vary. So that is why we commonly use PB ratio as the primary analyzation tool for getting a stable valuation. And that's all for the session. I hope you understand in detail about the PB ratio, which is an essential factor in the fundamental analysis. Please like, share and subscribe my channel Grow Money Wisely. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.